What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Hopefully, everyone's well. We got a lot to talk about. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in weeks. It's only been a few days. I purposefully took 2 days off of live streaming to focus on filming and editing, juggling everything. So, if you guys haven't seen, there are technically 4 videos up on our fight prediction playlist. You have my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of Nikita Tszyu versus Oscar Diaz, breakdown, analysis, and prediction of Callum Peters versus Joshawn James. Shout out to one of our JSB insiders, Barium Boxing. Everybody in the Discord will know who Barium Boxing is. He does these excellent write ups, boxing writer, analyst, and we did a collab. So that video is up. It is his analysis of what he sees of the upcoming fight of Dubois versus Wardley. And I filmed it, edited it, and I narrated it. That's up on the channel. And then I just uploaded, I put together both the Tszyu prediction and the Callum Peters prediction on one video. That's up as well. For all of those who are paying attention, I'm going to be uploading today my prediction, my analysis, and my breakdown of Dubois and Wardley. I have Wardley winning. I have Wardley winning by knockout. So I will be uploading that. It's almost ready to show the world. So just stay tuned. Guys, for all the JSB insiders, you guys have I just put, you guys have 5 tickets. So I do want to, 5 tickets are live. Our quarterly long parlay is still live as well. Nobody talks about. We put that ticket in on April 14th. That ticket is still live. That ticket started with Alicia Bumgardner, Naoya Inoue, David Benavidez, and we still have Hergovich, Keyshawn, Hamza, Stephanie Hahn, Shock, and Abdullah. That pays plus 492. So if you didn't jump on that early, the remaining legs still pay plus 223. So that's a ticket for you guys. I also gave you my upset of the week, which is in the UFC. Right now, that's at plus 154. You will be getting my dog of the week for boxing. We've hit our dog of the week 13 weeks in a row, boxing and UFC. I have a knockout prop for Australia tonight at plus 180. And I gave you guys a money line quad at plus 110. There's a lot of go to the Patreon, go to the members only section on YouTube. You'll see the action. I want to start and talk about the Aussie card though, because you guys have been messaging me the last 2 days. I didn't live stream Monday or Tuesday, and I got so many messages. I appreciate the support. Everything's fine. I just had to get caught up on some filming and editing, and I also run a coaching business, so I'm live streaming with clients who live all throughout the world. I'm coaching clients in person in my gym downstairs, and so everything is good. Let's get this, boy. Energy is up. I'm feeling really good about these picks. We got Australian fight cards starting in less than 12 hours. If you're in the Discord, don't fret. We will have somebody live streaming the fight card in the Discord. And if you're not in the Discord, that link right there will stay pinned in the comment section. It's a couple bucks a month. Definitely take advantage. I'm gonna say what's up and catch up to the comments right now. Then I will bring the odds up with the fight card tonight in Australia. There are also Japanese fights tonight. So we have a plethora of fights to talk about. I will focus on Australia first. So if you're like, why didn't you answer my comment? It's because it probably didn't talk about Australia. I'm not going to answer that yet. Mike, what's up, Mike from Melbourne? Tapping in. E Money, I agree. This is the brainstorming. So brainstorming, it's Wednesday, May 6th, 9 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia. So a lot of the 55% of our following is in America. So it's still Tuesday. Definitely brainstorming. It's my favorite phase of the week. Film study, brainstorming, and then from there, we start riffing. Going back and forth about who we like, and then by tomorrow morning, the boots should be dug in with. You guys should already be up to date with your film study. You should already know where your money's going to go. There are a few fights I am not betting on. We don't have to bet on every fight. Think about it. Don't have to bet on every fight. I'll tell you the fights I'm not betting on. Ringside, what's up? Appreciate you, brother. I'm not getting to any fights except the Aussies. And here we go. Lloyd Hernandez in the house. Do you have a pick on Tongo? Let me talk about the Tongo fight. Jack, I'll bring up the age. Okay, so I'll bring up the odds real quick. Guys, I'm going to be dedicating the first half of this live stream to Australia. So if you're asking me about other fights, that's on you. We'll get to the other fights at the end of this live stream. All right. So I've gotten, I know why I got all these questions on this fight, because of all of the fights on this no limit card, this one has the most intriguing odds. Hey, Lloyd, I'm not betting this fight. I'm not betting this fight, but here's my take. Tonga was in his one loss. I think he's 11-1 with 11 knockouts. His one loss is to Kira Rustin. Guys, Kira Rustin is a dog. So I'm watching Gary from 3D Boxing's live stream, and he has a way. He must not have known. I watched his live stream 2 days ago, and he must not have known who he called Kira Rustin. I'm not even going to repeat what he said. He said it was pretty derogatory, and I won't repeat it. But obviously, the way he spoke about Kira Rustin, he doesn't know who he is. Kira Rustin is a dog. Kira Rustin could crack. He's aggressive. You got to understand whether you're an Australian domestic prospect or whether you're a British domestic prospect, wherever you are in the world, an American domestic prospect, wherever you are in the world, the Bahamas, Caribbean, fill in the blank, Japan, and you're undefeated, you are going to be fighting with a certain confidence. You are going to be fighting with a certain belief in your skill set. That's Kira Rustin. Tonga, that matchup, if you haven't seen that fight, that was a hell of a fight. That was a fire fight. I broke that fight down. If you want to see the Stats Don't Lie video of Kira Rustin versus Tonga, go to my fight production playlist. It would have been about 6 months ago. Tonga is tough as nails, man. He just happened to run into a guy of Kira Rustin who's better coached, better trained, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more power, a little bit more seasoned, just a little bit more better. And Kira stopped him in the 6th. But that was an exciting fight. Kira Rustin's no joke. That's not a bad guy to lose to. When you think about Jack Bowen, his one loss, we're talking about a head scratcher. At least Kira Rustin versus Tonga, that was a 50-50 fight. Jack Bowen was an 8-1 favorite against Reynold Quinlan. And Reynold Quinlan's a guy. Reynold Quinlan is, he's a real pro. He long career. Every Australian boxing fan should know who Reynold Quinlan is. And he's had some good wins in his career. He's had some interesting losses in his career. Whenever you have a long pro, a guy who's long in the tooth, who, and unfortunately for the Australian domestic scene, these guys, all of them have jobs. They're all doing other stuff to keep the lights on. And Quinlan, the knock on Quinlan in his career was always like, what Quinlan are we going to get? Which Quinlan is going to show up? I've watched this guy look amazing at times. And I've watched this guy look like, who the hell was that? Is that the same guy? And so when Quinlan beat Bowen, Quinlan was an 8-1 dog. And we just happened to see the version of Reynold Quinlan who was like, hold on, I'm getting in shape for this fight. They got me as an 8-1 dog. I'm about this Jack Bowen dude's not going to beat me. And Reynold Quinlan showed out, and I think that was 2022. It was during the pandemic. The pandemic in here in Australia was a long time. We were locked down for years. So I think it was 2022. Because I talked to some friends from America. They act like it was 1 year. We were on a 5-kilometer lockdown going into year 3 in my neighborhood. It was insane. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. And so that's Jack Bowen's loss. I'm not betting on that fight. I'm going, like, I take this shit really serious. I need to produce week in and week out. We have to produce, right? I'm not betting that fight. If anything, let's see the odds. I would sprinkle on Tonga. I'm not betting this fight, but if you were to force my arm, I would take Tonga. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not Jack Bowen. At the price I don't like, I'm not playing it. If you guys are looking to, like, entertainment play, if you're sprinkling a little quarter unit, play the fight. If you're trying to be perfect here, if you're thinking that you could just add Bowen at $1.63 to juice up a parlay as a good parlay piece and be comfortable with that, I would be hesitant. That's my take there. I'm thinking Tszyu gets a stoppage. I do as well. Let's pull it up. Okay, so, in my breakdown, I spoke about this. It was unfortunate how the Nikita Tszyu versus Michael Zarafa fight ended. If you just go to the box rec, because we have a lot of aficionados in our group, which is great. We have a very educated Discord. We have a very educated chat. It was my whole goal in starting this, and we are achieving our goals week in and week out. So I thank everybody who supports it. That being said, there are some people in the boxing fandom, in the boxing betting world, who will just go to BoxRec and they'll just look at the fighters, they'll just look at the records, and then, and if they're doing a little bit more work, they'll look at the scorecards. I got into a debate earlier yesterday with a guy who I could tell right off the bat didn't watch the Rafa Tszyu. He just looked at the box rec. Because if you look at the box rec, we know that fight was stopped in the third. If you look at the judges' scorecards, it was 19-19. One fight, one round each. And if that's all you saw, and you saw that the fight was a no contest, no decision due to cuts in the third, you would think, oh, the guy was telling me Nikita was struggling with Zarafa's jab. I'm like, you didn't watch the fight. You didn't see where that fight was trending. You didn't watch round two. You didn't feel the energy of the crowd. That fight was going to get stopped. Nikita was pouring it on. Nikita was figuring him out. He was being a little bit patient, and it's boxing. How many of your favorite fighters historically give rounds away? Round one, Floyd was notorious for giving rounds one, round two away, waiting to see what he had in, what he was dealing with, and then he would turn it on. The best fighters generally will do that depending on the matchup. So I talked to a guy yesterday who was using the 19-19 scorecard against Zarafa on why Tszyu would struggle with Oscar Diaz. Oscar Diaz has one of these inflated European records, one of these inflated Spanish records. We see this with French fighters. And so 16-0, 6 knockouts, doesn't do anything really, really well. He's going to come in with machismo. He's going to come in with how any undefeated fighter should. I think he's 25 years old. Hasn't fought anybody, nobody on that resume that you've ever heard of. Nikita Tszyu at 28 years old now. He's had a couple surgeries. He's a big boy. I watched the weigh-ins. It looked like he cut a lot of weight. I saw him today on his Instagram. Looks like he's rehydrated really well. Southpaw, he uses his lead hand to set up that lead hook. He punches well with both hands. He has a good uppercut. Super aggressive, really good athlete. The thing about Nikita Tszyu, if you've watched his entire career, you've watched him add levels, but more importantly, he's brave. These are guys we like to watch. These are guys that grow fan bases. These are guys that have loyalist fans. Whenever we see a fighter who's brave, we've seen him get dropped before. We've seen him. The kid fought tooth and nail with Ben Horn. That's not but this was early Nikita. This was like Nikita in his first, I think, 5 pro fights. He learned a lot from it. I like to see a young kid, and whenever your last name is Tszyu, Nikita was fighting on pay-per-view cards in his 3rd pro fight. If his name was Nikita Smith, no, that would have never happened. But if his name was Nikita Smith and how he's evolved into what he's evolving into, in Australia, you'd have to say that he'd be fighting main events. Like he's good, man. People are sleeping on him. Internationally, now how will he operate when they take him overseas? Who knows? Enjoy the future suggestions of how a guy will operate when they step him up. That's all, enjoy what you have in front of you. I think he's going to go out there. I think he's going to use that lead foot. I think he's going to use his lead hand, not necessarily his jab. When I say lead hand, I said this in my breakdown, I think people assume when I'm talking about a southpaw who's going to use his lead foot and lead hand to control distance, they assume I'm talking about the jab. I'm not talking about his jab. His jab is getting better. I'm talking about that lead hook. He likes throwing it, and he has power in both hands. So I like the Nikita Tszyu stoppage at plus 181. Free game. If you take Nikita Tszyu by stoppage at plus 181, if you take that, who else we got on here? Give me a second. Clear these bets. Okay, you take Nikita at plus 181, and I'm just going to float to the next one because I'm going to tell you who else I really like here. And obviously, it's a fight I broke down. I watch a lot of tape on. Callum versus JJ. Okay. So I really like a double that I really like. I call it a mixed double, meaning we have a money line pick with a method of victory. So mixed, because usually I'll give you guys, like I gave you guys a 4-leg quad, all money line. This is a mix because I like Nikita by method of victory at 181, and I like Callum. I do have Callum Peters stopping Joshon James on a separate ticket at plus 180. But on this ticket, I have Callum on the money line because I want to get in on that action as well. So if you like this, Nikita by knockout, $1.81, Callum on the money line, $1.40, you're getting 153. Plus 153. These are all the tickets you'll get from me are plus money, by the way. I'm not gonna give you a minus 1,000, a minus 750, and force you to put 4 legs on a ticket that doesn't even give you plus money. That's not how I roll. So Callum Peters, when this fight got signed, if you're paying attention and following along, I spoke briefly about this fight 2 weeks ago, and I go, because you know how we do here. We stay laser focused on the fights that are in front of us, but we always got our little eye, our peripheral on what's ahead, right? So 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, Callum Peters is fighting Joshon James. I like the way they're moving, Callum. That's a step up fight. And those who don't know Callum Peters, you don't live in Australia, which I understand. Callum Peters, over 100 amateur victories. I think he was 114 and something wild. 22 knockouts in the amateurs. They call him 50 cal. I don't know if you've ever seen a 50 cal bullet. These are like military style, massive, massive bullets because it's a play on words, Callum 50 cal, but also how he fights. The kid has power in his hands. 6-0, 6 stoppages. The same confidence that Kira Rustin has in terms of like that sort of everything I talked about earlier. When you have a young prospect / contender who could punch, who's undefeated, they fight with a certain freedom. They fight with a certain belief. They always feel the fight is one punch away from ending. This is Callum Peters. Now, 2 weeks ago, I was like, damn, Joshon, I gotta wait to see these odds. And when they came out, I was initially like, man, is this too much too soon for Callum Peters? Only instinctively because of watching Joshon James fight Stevens, Joshon James fighting Lester Martinez, Joshon James in his last fight. We streamed it. He was fighting on Pro Box. And then I was doing a little bit deeper dive in Joshon James. He's I think 11-1 with 1 draw. He gets stopped. He gets stopped against Lester Martinez. He gets hurt with a jab against Lester Martinez, then got stopped in the 4th. He's fighting an unknown Dominican in his last fight, a fight in which he was a favorite. There was that double knockdown that I played in my breakdown, and he ended up winning a majority decision. And the more I think about it, the more I broke tape down. Callum Peters, the thing about Joshon James, which I feel is going to get him stopped, is how brave he is. But he has shown me signs. He's shown me durability issues. He is going to punch with Callum. He's going to punch with Callum. And he's not the most explosive puncher. He's a brave puncher. He has power. He's going to stand there with you. I think they brought and don't ever sleep on the toll and the tax that 15-hour flight. I don't know where Joshon lives. I think he might live in Sacramento, Northern California. I've taken the Sydney to LAX, LAX to Sydney straight shot, 15-hour flight over 50 times in my life, considering I've been living in Sydney since 2013. I go visit my family in Ohio all the time. So that's Sydney to LAX, 15 straight hours, and then LAX to Cleveland, another 5 hours. So that's 20. I know what that flight's horrible. It was good to see Joshon James get here a few days ago. I wasn't sure if he was going to be here for media day, fight week, but he was, and he looked decent. I think Callum Peters. From what I've seen, watching his amateur career, I think he's one of Australia's most exciting prospects. 100% that I feel that will be a contender in the next few years, and I think the same about Kira Rustin. The fight takes place at 47. Oh, you guys are talking about that fight. What's up, Johnny? Magano, what's up? What's up? I'm going to only focus on the Australian questions until they stop. Jack Bowen is just too amateurish. He needs to be better trained and more time before step-up fights. Yeah, we watched this. Jack Bowen, we watched this step-up fight in 2022. I'll show you what I mean. Let me show you something. So Jack's 12-1 with 9 knockouts. Looks good, right? 12-1 with 9 knockouts, 29 years old. I can't reiterate it enough how big of an upset it was when he lost. At least from the odds, pull it up. I don't know if there's a site historically you could pull up. What were the odds when he fought Reynold Quinlan? Damn, my memory's still sharp. 2022. Damn, these pop-ups are ignorant. Dude, the pop-ups are ignorant. In a six rounder, he gets stopped. And look at the time Jack was 7-0. Reynold Quinlan had 25 pro fights. He was already he was already at the end of his career, Quinlan. This fight propelled Quinlan into bigger fights in which, he didn't show up. So Quinlan was 14-11 when they fought. Since that fight, he's 3-7, I think. Bro, BoxRec drives me freaking insane. So yeah, Quinlan 17-17 now. I don't even know if is he still active? No, he's just been losing. Look, just losing to guys. Look at the weight. He fought Jack at 170, I think. I think the Jack Bowen fight was at 170. He weighed 171 when he fought Jack Bowen, right? The fight before that, he weighed 192, 188. And then look, 180, 182, 174, 192, 214, 200, 215. It just goes to show you that when he was like, screw this, I'm tired of making weight. I'm not fucking. I'm a grown ass man. I ain't making weight. But the results showed, and that's an example of the class it takes and how difficult the sport of boxing is for you to make a successful career. You have to stay in shape. You have to dedicate yourself. You can't be fluctuating from 170 to 200. And Bowen just ran into a Reynold Quinlan who was super motivated for that fight, had a chip on his shoulder. It was a 6-rounder. Reynolds was a plus 800, plus 700, and Bowen was up on the cards too, and he gets stomped. So that you got to think about that. Don't forget about that. You guys aren't getting the Callan Peters fight. Interesting. I got Nikita money line, no distance. Fujita money line. Joe Sean money line. That's gonna disappoint you, bro. Joe Sean, you're gonna be disappointed, man. Joe Sean, not. He's just. You guys are gonna see Callan Peters be like, damn, that dude's good. Remember we said that. Tszyu versus Diaz. I like this bet. Let's see what my boy Jay in the house holler at me. Oh, I haven't. Let's see what that under plays. Yeah, Joe Sean's just too slow. Joe Sean James is just sluggish and slow, and he likes to punch. Callan Peters is probably going to take his head off. Guys, wherever you are in the world, 25 minutes in, we got 50 people in here. We were peaking at 60. Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up, motherfucker. I'm not getting that bet. Will the fight go the distance? Dude, a parlay piece, will the fight go the distance? No. 52%. Yeah, 1,000 on that gets you 520 back. I'm not getting. I like you guys in America get the books you use, man. I'm kind of envious sometimes on your round betting. Like getting a under 4.5, we don't even get those options. I don't mind 52% return on that fight not going the distance. So you pair the you could go fight not to go I might do something sneaky. I might play. I don't currently. I haven't posted any action on the Japanese card, but I think I like Nakano and Fujita in that Japanese card. Desert Eagle Peter. The DE. Desert Eagle Peter. His name's Callum though. Callum Desert Eagle Peters. But Callum 50 Cal. I was at the fights this weekend. Shout out to a JSB insider, Kane McInerney, Sugar Cane. He headlined a card Friday in Paddington. We were at that fight. He got the decision victory. 20-year-old kid fighting a 27-year-old. Looked great. Shout out to JSB insiders. We up. At the venue, though, these are 50 cal shells. Those things are massive, dude. They were at a war memorial. Kane fought at a war memorial. It was freaking dope. Bas Christos. Morning, Johnny. What's your thoughts on Wayne Telepe versus? I'm not getting that. Are we getting that? I don't have any thoughts on that, Christos. I didn't even know we had options to bet on it. I'm going live again today, boys. So my second live, it's 9:26 a.m. now. I'm going to go live again in about 4 hours after I upload the Dubois versus Wardley Stats No Live video, and we'll talk about it. Christos, ask me that question about 4 hours. We're going to talk about all these fights. I want to hold true to my word. I'm a man of my word. You got about 3 more minutes to focus strictly on Australia, and then we'll get into the chaos that's in front of us. Top Dog in the house. Top Dog Toya. Top Dog Toya last week said the most logical comment in our Discord. She goes, you know what? I'm going to take this week off of betting. Or maybe you said that this week. I was like, logic. We'll get to the Leo fight in a second. Your dog of the week, UFC, Hammer Hands. I like J-Rod. I win money on J-Rod. It's all good. Leo, it's fun. Everyone's all right. I think we passed Australia. Rando Light. Yo, what's the word? Australia, if you get action, I have a couple different plays I'm doing. Let me show you something real quick. Well, I'll wrap up my Australian takes with this thing I'm about to show you, and then we'll get into all the other fights. All right. So if you guys aren't in our Discord, this is what our Discord looks like. We're just reaching 500 VIPs. So I woke up this morning. One of the first things I always do is I check the Discord. So I posted this at 7:32 a.m. These are just my takes. If you guys are getting these plays, Australian card. Kiera Rustin dominates. Brandon Gratch dominates. Mundine dominates. That's Chalk's son. He's fighting G-Banger. G-Banger is going to get destroyed. Dryden wins. I'm not betting on the Dryden fight, though. Dryden hasn't fought in 7 years. And Ione is known for coming out like an executioner in the first round. So the odds on the Dryden Hunter Ione fight are as close as they are. Dryden hasn't fought in 7 years, and he's going up against a guy. Yeah, I think Hunter's 10-13, but Hunter, he's always no limit. Will put a guy on every single card, even if they're 10-13, based on entertainment. And I think all boxing promoters should do that. That's why I like. It's one of the things I do like about No Limit. Hunter Ione will make every fight look close until he has about a good 3 minutes in him. And he'll sprint out on you and make it look real 50-50. He'll go against high level guys and it'll look 50-50. But then that gas tank is something, that gas tank will disappear. So I'm not betting on Dryden versus Hunter, but I think Dryden should win. All you bettors who are taking that fight, remember Dryden hasn't fought in 7 years. I talked about the Jack Bowen versus Tongo fight. I'm not betting that. Nikita wins, Callum wins. Those are my views. Okay? This is what our Discord looks like. Let's see what the boys are talking. Skeezy, 50 cal rocking that Navarrete physique. Well, 50 cal is still dude, that physique right there will make Navarrete look like a fitness model. Navarrete wishes he looked like that. The thing is, 50 cal's still young, man. 23, he still has like baby fat. Never been like you're never gonna see him ripped. So he carries around a little bit extra weight conditioning. That boy looks confident though. All right, let's pull those odds back up. That Navarrete built, you crazy. Navarrete would give anything to be built like that. We love Navarrete for that though. Savage. Joe Sean money line, but no distance on. I like it. All right. Yeah, look, value. Joe Sean has a puncher's chance. He does. I don't like the way he got dropped against um I think his name was Hernandez, the Dominican he just fought. I don't like how he went tooth and nail with him. I got to be honest with you. Yonler Hernandez, not Yoenli. You guys know who I'm talking about. I was on the Pro Box card. And he just he's so willing to punch with you. That's the exact fight Peters wants. That's the exact fight. I think Peters is going to break him down to the body and knock him out up top. I can see that going down that way. I got Rustin and Nikita left in a big multi. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get 40 likes. Yeah, we were peaking at 70 people in here. We're 32 minutes in, just like the video. Jabroni. Barium. I'm gonna get to Barium. We're gonna get to Rafferty. Let me catch everybody up. Wardley. We'll get to Mosby in a sec. Oh, Mosby threw Tszyu in there, so I got to talk about it. What do you think? Tszyu moneyline, Morel moneyline, J Rod, Wardley versus Dubois. Let's go, dude. I like it. We know nothing is safe. The last thing we want to see is Wardley versus Dubois end in a decision. I'm sure there'll be sharp money. I'm not playing it. I like Wardley to stop him. But we'll get there in a second. We'll get there in a second. Okay, so Giselle, this is the Japanese card. Let's pull these odds up. There are two fights that I like on the money line in Japan tonight. If you parlay them, I think you get a 75% return. Yeah, I think Fujita's going to handle business. I think Nakano is going to handle business. Yeah, 75% return. So maybe you want to add those to other parlays. It's not really. I like keeping things organized. If you want a 75% return, I think those two favorites in Japan win. Nakano, he fought. We watched him fight Reese, didn't we? This is Mikado Nakano. I know he's a brother. He has a brother. Yeah, he's coming off a decision loss to Reese. That's his last fight. The scorecards were all over the place. That was in November. So he's coming off a loss, and he's fighting Delamy, 21-3, 12 knockouts. They say Delami's 32 years old. Shit. He's lost to Jazz. Been in there with some good guys. It's a good fight. I gotta lean the two favorites here though. So that's my take on Japan. Can I use the donkey tomorrow? Yes. Nathan, where you been, dog? Feels a bit. Yeah, Yeah, I took. I told you if you're just tuning in, we're 35 minutes in now. I took Monday and Tuesday off from live streaming to focus on filming and editing. Like you guys have 4 videos up. One 11-minute video, it takes a lot out of me. Those Stats Don't Lie videos, I love doing them. They're my favorite because I get to be creative, but they take a lot out. They're tiresome, and I run a coaching business, so I train. So I just need after this past weekend we had 4 straight days of boxing. I was up late. I wasn't sleeping well. Guys, your mental health should be your number one focus. Mental health, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you do for a living, mental health should be your number one focus. How we keep our mental health optimized is physical health and recovery. So for me, I was run down after last weekend. 4 straight days of chaos, amazing fights, ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster of betting on boxing. And Monday morning, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not going to live stream for 2 days. I'm going to refill my cup. You know what I'm saying? I used to know this old timer. He was kind of a mentor of mine, and he would work on bonsai trees. Shout out to Maxie. He was a professor at a local university here, and he had a 300. Have you ever seen what a 300-year-old bonsai tree looks like? He had a 300-year-old bonsai tree. It was like this big, and once every 6 months he would take it to his master, his Tai Chi master, and they would trim it. And he would always talk to me about it's important to give things away as a coach, as a teacher, whatever you're into, helping people, but you can only give so much away until you have to refill your cup up first. He'd always say, make sure you fill your cup up too. So that's what me taking some time off is just me filling my cup up. I'm ready to rock now, baby. All right, we're here now. Barry unboxing. Plus 200 on Estimon. Let's pull it up. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm just gonna minimize. Maybe I can make my head bigger. No one wants to see my head. That's better. All right, that's a better angle, so I can see your Look, I'm learning, boys. I can see your comments. You can see my big ass head. The odds are on the screen. Jack Rafferty has fought nobody. No one. Jack Rafferty. Here's what I don't like about Jack Rafferty. The tape on Jack Rafferty, man, it's not convincing. So Jack is 26-0, 17 knockouts. 30 years old, 5'9" Orthodox fighter. So that looks great. Like if you all that looks great. The stats, the knockout to win ratio. Majority decision in his last fight against Mark Chamberlain. Stops Corey Regan, Reese McCallan, Henry Turner. These guys all have good records. But it's like domestic level, domestic level, domestic level, domestic level. And I do know like people don't like how old Echo is, but this is a guy who puts it on you. This is a guy who puts a pace and puts it on you, and he knows how to win rounds. The thing is, he is coming off a stoppage loss against Jack, a fight in which he was competitive until he wasn't. And Jack, you gotta tip your hat to Jack. I've been winning, I bet on Jack a lot. I liked Jack's methodical southpaw style before he went to see Bozy. And Bozy, people either love or hate Bozy. the Stephen Fulton haters will talk about how Bozy never the only fighter in his camp who wins is Boots. But then again, it's like, all right, Big Baby Miller just got a dub. Jack fights out of Bozy's camp now. You got other guys. Uh, it's not just Boots. The one thing Bozy is good at is teaching people how to punch, right? And so Echo was a victim of Jack Catterall 2.0. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough fight to bet. I think Echo surprised a lot of people with his, he beat Josh Taylor, which I thought it was a close fight. And, the Josh was at home, and maybe it was one of those things that sometimes the boxing world pushes fighters, forces them to retire. You know what I'm saying? We saw this recently. We've seen it in the UK a couple different times. We saw it with, I felt, Josh in Scotland versus Echo. They're like, all right, buddy. And then we just saw it again with horrible fight. It doesn't matter. I don't know if I'm betting on this fight. I don't know if I'm betting on this fight. I don't think Jack Rafferty's a lock. I don't. Yeah, I agree with this statement. I agree with the statement wholeheartedly. If I play action on this fight, I'll let you guys know. As of now, sometimes, guys, when I say what I'm about to say, it doesn't necessarily mean I mean don't bet. Sometimes our best bet is the one we don't make. What I mean by that is an underlying skill in being a consistent winner in betting on boxing is knowing how to maneuver matchups. I might not bet on this fight. I see Jack Rafferty Echo Esteban. It's not like I'm like, this fight. Like, I'm like, shit, head scratcher. 37-year-old versus a 30-year-old. Echo's coming off a knockout loss. I really don't like Jack's resume. He's coming off a draw. But then we have value betters in our group. We have guys who are sharps. Some of you guys even call me that. I'm just learning. I'm learning. I'm not even a year in. I'm a lifelong boxer, boxing fan, all that, and I know the game in and out. But learning the strategy of betting, August will be 1 year for me. So I understand people seeing Echo at plus 190. That's sharp money. Do I like this bet? Am I going to bet it right now? I don't know. I'll let you know if I take action. You know what's up? Boxing is life. Reset. Come back. Yeah, I had to do it. Did you? I've released after this live stream. You'll see 4 edited videos. Come out swinging. Yeah, I needed that refill, boy. All right, I like Ray. I do like Ray money line. I do have action. I like. Here's a double. I like is Ray money line. Wardley money line. I like, you know what? Let's do a rundown because I'm going to do a brief rundown. I'm just going to do all of the fights that they're giving me instinctively, and we're going to put them together and see what it pays. All right. Gratch. Yep. I'm not fucking with Walton. I think Fujita wins. I'm not betting Dryden Ione. I think Takano wins. CJ wins. I'm not betting Bo and Tonga. Kira wins. Callum wins. Nikita wins. I haven't taped Perez. Perez should win. Jalilov wins. I'm not betting, dude. Majid, Gavin Gwynn. If anything, Khalil Majid's resume is god awful. Gavin Gwynn, old head. I'm not betting that fight. If I were, I'd probably take Gwynn in that fight. Liam Cameron. I like Bradley right here. Jack Rafferty. We talked about it. Greatest Kraus. The odds suck. If I could, guys, you know how I always talk about if you could ever get Gabby Fundora by knockout, take her. If you could ever get Greatest Kraus by knockout, take him. He's right now. Greatest is like this, and he's winning by knockout. I mean, this is just. I think he wins. Morel wins. I have Fabio beating Dubois. Oh, my boy Atif is fighting Gongora. That's a nice little fight. Gongora has a name to him. Atif is fighting. Shout out to Overton, Philadelphia in the house. Angela Leo. I'm gonna break this fight down, so I'm gonna leave it off. This is the one. Like, it bothers me that Reese is. I think Reese is in his mid-30s now. I was at the Reese Aleem Sam Goodman fight. Angelo Leo is a guy we've covered on the channel since his rise. Since he's a champion now. Watched him on Pro Box. Watched him go to Japan as a 50-50. Might have been a dog. Come out, he could punch. Now Reese is going to make him fight his fight, though. We're going to see if Angelo could cut the ring off. We're going to see if Angelo, how his hand speed is going to be against Reese Aleem. We're going to see how weathered, how much tread in the tires Reese Aleem has. So that's a fun fight to break down. I'm not going to put him on this ticket. Katsarakis versus Rodriguez. It's another one. See, this fight is next week to me. If you see the dates there, Monday, May 11th. I haven't really even looked at these fights. J-Rod, yep. And Boacek, I love Boacek against Mosley here. So I'm not saying I'm going to make this live. Those are 15 fights. What does that pay? Plus 1950, dude. So that's just off jump. That's just me doing a little speed trial of going through all those. If you put all those together, it's like plus 2,000. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to break down the Katsarakis Misael Rodriguez fight. I'm going to break down the Reese Aleem versus Angelo Leo fight. I'm going to break down the Serhii Boacek versus Shane Mosley Jr. fight. You're getting Wardley versus Dubois upload today. I like Bradley Ray on the money line. Look, there's like 3 or 4. I think more importantly, we talk about the fights that I'm not betting. Now let's do that. Here are the fights that I'm not betting as of now. This might become a regular segment for the boys in the team, is this rundown that I always do, but I think more importantly, fights that I'm not betting on, sort of trap fights. I'm not betting on Dryden and Hunter. Like I told you, Dryden should win. Dryden is the big favorite. Dryden hasn't fought in 7 years. 7 years, dude. That's insane. Dryden hasn't fought since before the pandemic. So I'm not betting that fight. Jack Bowen versus Tonga. I talked about this fight. I'm not betting that fight. There's one thing with sharp money. There's another thing with instincts. These fights that I'm avoiding, my instincts are saying because there's so many other good fights around them that we can make money on with method of victory that I'm not gonna put action on these ones. So that's 2. Khalil Majid, Gavin Gwynn. I'm probably not going to bet this fight, dude. This is like C-level British domestic fights. Gavin Gwynn coming off fights against Vong, in which I covered both of those fights. Those fights. Talk about Cameron Vong. Talk about 2 fights that are hard to watch. One was a draw. One was a decision. And Khalil Majid he's fought nobody. 0. His biggest win was against Alex something, who just got knocked down in 1 round. And Alex looked like a C-level guy, one of these guys who's like, I think he's 17-3. Anyway, I'm not betting that fight. I'll give you my take on Jack and Echo. Just give me some time. I talked about Bradley Ray, Fabio Wardley. I talked about Aleem and Leo. I need time on that. Katsarakis. I need time on that. All right, so there's 3 fights I'm avoiding. And I think one of them is in Australia. So the 3 fights that I'm not betting. Well, 2 of them are in Australia. I'm not betting Dryden Ione. I'm not betting Bowen Tonga. And I'm not betting Khalil Majid and Gavin Gwynn. There you go. Those are the fights I'm not betting. I'm not even covering them. So don't even ask me about Khalil Majid and Gavin Gwynn. I'm not going to even. There's just so many other good fights. The Zoo. Oh, God. Freaking Isaac Lucero. Fuck. Fuck. Ugh. Ugh. The ghosts of last weekend's past. Fucking. What was he doing? Who's Isaac Lucero think he is? Fuck. Anyway. We should not linger in our past. We should focus on the future. Oh God, yuck. The Tszyu Diaz fight over 8.5 is on my end. You like the under? I don't like the under. I'm not getting the under. I like Tszyu by knockout. I like Tszyu on the money line. I think we covered that. Let's run those lines up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go, Barium. Barium, I hopefully you understood why I left out your prediction in the upload. You didn't you didn't. I assume you understand why I did that. Jack Bowen is a lot bigger than Tonga. Yeah, no, he is. We covered that. I understand, bro. I'll be watching all your videos and lives. I'll be sad. Ah, appreciate you, dude. I'm sad without you guys, boy. Dude, like I was getting itchy not live streaming Monday and Tuesday. I haven't skipped a Monday Tuesday live stream in all year, so you got me back. I just needed 2 days to kind of get refill my cup. Hamzat Gordon Peters Worley Zoo Gordon. Who's fighting? Did I see a Gordon? Dwayne Stilo in the house. His boy Canelo is fighting soon. Johnny just answered, is it too soon for Rafferty? See, that's the thing, history. Is it too soon for Jack? And is it too late for Echo? This is a, what do they call this? Crossroads? It really is. I thought Echo, we all could agree Echo was coming on against Jack. Or against Catterall. Wow, fighting 2 Jacks in a row. That's rare. Fighting Jack Catterall, Jack Rafferty. Solid name, dude. My dad used to call me Jack. I guess at one time in the world, Johns were called Jacks. So Jack, I always thought if I ever had a son, I'd call him Jack. That's a strong first name, Jack. But is it? I don't know, man. I don't have all the answers, bro. I'm not. The last thing I ever want to do is sit here and act like I have all the answers for you boys. The last thing I ever want to do is sit here and tell you to change your bet. I'm just what's got me to where I am in life is just being authentic. So I don't know, man. Is it? These are the questions. I tend to generally side with the guy who has more output. But then you're like, Johnny, why did you pick Catterall then? Because he didn't have more output, statistically speaking. True. I felt Jack Catterall is world class. I've always said that about Jack. I've been a fan of Catterall since before the Arnold Barboza Jr. fight. I thought Catterall beat Josh the first time. Catterall should be under Catterall. This is a guy that the history books have not written him as a world champion, but in my eyes, he was undisputed. And so, granted, I took Arnold Barboza Jr. to beat him at plus 350. We came out of victorious there. Love betting on ABJ. You guys know that. I also like betting on Catterall, though. We hit Catterall by knockout against... Some of us played that knockout, by the way. The receipts are up. So I don't put Jack Rafferty... I don't think Jack Rafferty is world class. I think Echo Esumon has shown signs of being world class in times. If Echo's volume and pace hasn't waned at all, I think he's going to win more rounds. That stoppage versus Jack was controversial. He was hit by an elbow in that round. Then as the ref was trying to call him, it was. No. And then, but falling out the ring was wild work, though. The optic of that whole scenario was crazy. You know what? Let's pull up what the scores were. What were the scorecard? What were the scores during that fight at the time of the stoppage? Because he did fall through the ropes, mate. So these were the scores of Esumon and Jack at the time of the stoppage. The fans had it 93-96 Catterall. Close. And Esumon had a 10-8 round in the fourth because he got dropped in the fourth as well. But then, you guys remember when he got dropped in the fourth, he kind of came back in that round. And look, look at this. Look how it switched. Esimon, the fans had Esimon winning the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. He was coming on, guys. He was coming on, boy. We was sweating. So it was. There's a story to be. There's definitely a story in that fight. It was a fun fight. There's controversy. Um, it's boxing, you know. Are we talking about elbows? Did anybody talk about the Benavides elbow? I used to do technique videos, boxing technical videos, because I'm a coach. And this would have been years ago. I did this video of how Teddy Atlas, my bad, how Freddie Roach drills his hooks on the heavy bag. This would have been 7 years ago. So Teddy, we would do a drill from the orthodox position on the heavy bag, working our lead hooks, landing the lead hook here in the pocket and turning it over. And the drill would be when you're on, when you're on the bag, before you throw the punch, elbow up, elbow up. This is before you throw the punch. And so the elbow keeps the punch tight, right? Because in the pocket, when you're punching with a puncher, and if you're a puncher, the last thing you ever want to do is be loopy with your hooks, especially in range, right? You want to keep them tight. So you would drill that elbow up and then turn, elbow up and turn. And over time, when you're drilling that on the heavy bag, your fist might just be grazing the heavy bag, but the elbow is hitting it. And it's dirty boxing. It's a technique that's been drilled and coached and taught forever. And Benavides, the thing about what Benavides did though is he landed a back elbow. I don't know if I've ever seen that in slow motion. He was beating the brakes off of old boy, but he did land a back elbow. He was shoe shining, and I think it was that one. So it's here, boom, and he caught him on the comeback, which I had never seen, and which But elbows are always part of the game. Elbows are part of the game, man. Gun to your head, which underwood? So Esomon. I think Shane Mosley is very average, dude. Sari Boacek's a mother. Sari Boacek, another one of these guys, super ultra durable, ultra competitive in every single fight, except if he fights Brandon Adams. His volume is there. I thought Sari was done, dude. I thought Boacek was done. I thought he was over. Watching what he looked, even the Michael Fox fight was close. Fox dropped him in the 10th. Didn't get credited for a knockdown, but I did a slow motion video on that. That was a knockdown. The judges were a little bit, it wouldn't have changed things. He would have still won a decision. But Boacek was beaten. Boacek fought Virgil tooth and nail. How many people dropped Virgil multiple times? That fight was close as hell. People were talking about Virgil. Virgil was lucky. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad with a draw in that fight. Boacek versus Virgil. And then, he took a lot of shots, but Virgil took a lot of shots. That's the style Boacek has. And then when he fought Michael Fox at 160 and didn't look as dominant as I thought he was going to look, I thought he was done. And then he fights Butayev and was a slight dog, and it was the same version. I don't know if the extra 6 pounds, obviously not having to cut those extra 6 pounds fighting at 160 now, helped him. And his volume was there until the last round against Butayev, and it was Butayev who faded. So I think the volume, the pressure, the seasoning of Boacek will be enough to beat Shane Mosley Jr. But I think Esimon's live. I think Esimon's real live. But we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna see. You guys, I'm gonna make all of those picks official after tonight. We got the Australian card starting in about 7 hours. You guys know how I roll. When we have midweek boxing, I like formatting things. So before I get too far ahead in terms of posting my plays, I want to see what happens tonight. Let's go. Let's go perfect tonight, man. We're due for a perfect 100%. We went perfect. The last Pro Box card, we were perfect. The UFC picks were perfect. But I got freaking Toasted on the PBC card. Boy, don't act like I didn't forget. I'm fucking pissed still. Boy, Isaac Lucero. Fuck. God damn it. Salty. Salty. Resendez getting the break speed off of him. I flip-flop, boys. I'm sorry. I owe you an apology. I'm so I got talked out of my Munguia pick. I tried. That hasn't happened in almost 6 months. Me getting I'm not getting. I told you 7 months ago when I got talked out of Seb Fondora against Tszyu because I was high on Seb, and then I got talked out of Seb, and loyalty took over, and then I flip-flopped to Tim. I said that would never happen again. Well, it happened again because there's receipts. If you watch my first 3 live streams last week, I was all in on Munguia. And then I got talked out of it, but that's my fault. I got to stand on business, stand on 10. I'm usually really, really, really solid on that. But yeah, I'm still pissed about last week. And don't get it twisted, boys. I'm salty. Dude, Munguia just looked massive. His hand speed. Where's he? If that's the version now of 29 of Munguia, he's a freaking monster. I always thought he was good. I always liked Jaime. And dude, what was I watching? Why did Resendez look big against Plant and small against Jaime? Because on paper, isn't Plant listed in 6'1"? I don't. Anyway. Fucking Isaac Lucero. Fighting like, what is he doing, dude? He was a plus 500. Plus 600. Mosby, Esumani's Motra. History fault. We up. Are we agreeing? High interest, baby. Okay. Bradley Ray, Liam Cameron. Liam Cameron is a guy who most notably had his career-defining performance in a draw. The first fight against Ben Whitaker, but used it to get signed, got a deal. We know about overcoming drug issues and lifestyle issues. We know his story. This is boxing, though, guys. Our sport is filled with these stories. It's why it's the greatest sport on earth, because of redemption, not only within the fight, seeing guys that we cheer for who get knocked down, who pick themselves off the canvas and then win, a la Chico Corrales. These guys become legends in our sport, but also outside of the ring. Guys who are able to overcome their demons and pick themselves up and use it to propel themselves. And Liam Cameron, he's gained a following because of this. But then, in the rematch against Ben switches camps. Shout out to Ben, goes to Coach Andy Lee. The game plan was on point. The strategy was on point. And Ben Whitaker was always more talented, more skilled everywhere. He should dominate Liam Cameron 10 out of 10 times. So it just goes to show you the benefit of having a great game plan, a great coach in your corner, what Ben Whitaker 2 looked like against Cameron. Now, Bradley Ray is a guy that I've won money on. I've won money on him front running, and I've won money on him fading. So I picked Lyndon Arthur last time, plus 250, we up, which got dicey. There were times where it got dicey on Lyndon's side, but Lyndon, I think people underestimate the shotgun jab. Like, that shit's a lost art, boy. Being comfortable enough, backing up on the ropes. That boy. Sa. And, Bradley Ray is susceptible. Head all stiff. Fights on a straight line. Eyes get big when he wants to throw hooks. Bradley Ray is by no means a perfect fighter. This dude sees a punch he wants. He goes like this. And it's like, bro, you're telling Bradley Ray is horrible at poker. You know what I'm saying? He tells everybody what he wants to do. I just think that this is a great matchup. This is a great matchup for Bradley Ray to get back on track. Whatever his goals are domestically, to contend domestically in England. And I just think that Liam Cameron kind of hit lightning in a bottle with a draw. And I think that's how I look at that. I like Ray on the money line. Yeah, Alex Murphy. Yes. Oh, Gordon to beat Miller. Yeah, Miller. Shout out to Jim Miller, A10 in the house. A10's been in the game since Nam. I think I had Jack. It was getting dicey though, man. Jack was getting touched up. Echo was turning it on. Jack was getting way too comfortable getting pushed back. This right here. Well, the fights are in Newcastle. So Newcastle is about 2 hours from me. So I'm not going to the fights. Kyle, we need you. We need our stream king. Kyle, the stream king Hayden. You think Shane can outbox him? I don't see Shane. I don't think Shane's gonna handle that volume though. Shane wants to keep it nice and clean. Shane wants to control things at his tempo. Boacek doesn't have any of that. Shane doesn't have. I don't think Shane has the power or snap on his punches to make. Dude, Virgil couldn't make Boacek back up. Boacek just walks onto everything. He's like a Terminator in there. That volume. I never put Shane Jr. as the at world class level, and I feel that volume and pressure, unless come fight night, Boacek just looks like he's done. I thought that was going to be the case against Butiev. I took Butiev in that fight, full disclosure. It's not like I'm a Boacek fanboy. And I took Virgil to beat Boacek, but Virgil, dude, and rewatch it. That fight was close. I just watched Gary talk about Gary has some wild. You could tell when Gary favors his fighters. He's a Texas guy. I get it. Virgil's a Texas guy. But that fight was close. That fight, dude, you get 2 10-8s. You get knocked down twice, bro. What are we talking about? Virgil's one of my favorite fighters as well. Damn, we were spoiled getting Virgil versus Boacek a couple years ago, weren't we? Dude, hopefully people realize how fun of a fight that was. Can we get this full fighting though, man? What are we doing? Echo is the final leg on some parlays for me. If he wins, I'm guaranteed a good Saturday. Bury him, you're gonna get it, brother. I'm following you on it. Sometimes we gotta play a little bit of momentum here. My instinct has always been leaning Essuman since his fight got signed. And you're right, that knockout loss to Jack wasn't your atypical, I'm fading in a fight, I'm getting beaten and broken down, I throw a Hail Mary and I get... No, there was some fuckery with that knockout. So my book, and I spoke about this multiple times. Oh, I got to cut this off. We're already over. We're an hour and 10 minutes. 65 of you guys in here. Let's get 10 more likes. Come on. Like the 10 more likes for the boys. The reason why I don't live bet SPTV, I have for my Discord. We have it's not just me in there. Our Discord is filled with, we have guys who will wait till the fights to bet. I can't do that because my book, Sportsbet in Australia, I don't have the function. I guess some of your books in America or wherever you live in the world, you could be watching a fight and just hit a button on your app and you could put money action and live bet. They make us call. I got to call a number and talk to a human. I don't do all that. I don't be playing all these I ain't calling no little human. It's like I already got action on it. I'm not calling you. Anyway, it's weird. I would definitely live bet if I was able to just slide a button. Oh, bro, Kyle. I use your quote for a reason. Sometimes the best bets are the ones we don't make. A bro clock is right. Yes, Fresh VX. You're a wise man, brother. Yeah, the bro clock is right twice a day. Good, Andre. At least somebody's up. Anyone that's streaming up. Yeah. Way too expensive. Kyle Hayden. Kyle Hayden is the stream king. Shout out to Kyle. Dude, the boys will be streaming in the Discord. I've never once tuned into the Discord and they weren't streaming. I felt like Tito was live, bro. You taught me out of it, but I said nice power switch. Looks hurt. Oh, did I talk? Oh, that fight too. Fucking hell. Jorge Chavez. Damn, he was outclassed. I had Jorge on one ticket. I had him on I took Jorge at plus money. So in my head, I was getting Jorge Chavez as an underdog. I got him at plus 110, and I got starched because Tito. The tape I watched on Tito looked like a Robert Garcia trained fighter in that fight. Man, I had never seen him. commit to the body that much. I've seen him body punch, but I would have never called him a body snatcher. He was a body snatcher. He fought freaking well. I got some good. Same. I hit all my UFC picks last week. Kyle, we need you, bro. Kyle, we need you. Joe Stunner picked Daniel. Stop Fabio. I found it. Yeah, Joe Stunner. My guy. Guys, if you're not following Joe Stunner, follow him on YouTube. Joe Stunner Boxing. Ellie goes, I'm an insider. You can read. I always read your comments. Am I tripping? Ellie goes, I think sometimes, though, all these comments are coming like this. I was in the live. I was in that live, Johnny. Why are you behind the bushes when Gary go live? I was in the live. Oh, I don't catch them live. I watched his live after. If that's what you mean. I don't think Buckley, look. Sean Brady's a beast. Sean Brady is a beast, man. He's not just a wrestler and a grappler. He's an offensive wrestler. He's doing everything with intentions to get you on your back and beat the piss out of you. Kamaru Usman is a wrestler grappler. He's controlling you. When Kamaru was in his prime, he fought a little bit differently. Kamaru doesn't have knees, guys. I don't think this should be a well-known fact. Kamaru Usman handled Buckley, dude. Buckley's weakness is very evident. He can't get up off of his back. He's super athletic. I think Sean Brady, Buckley will probably maybe get up after the first takedown, but I think over time, Sean Brady bulldogs this dude. Watching that Chavez, same. I'm not going to give up on Jorge. There's a lot to work on there. It looked like he faded too a bit. It looked like he wasn't. What I saw, it looked like he wasn't preparing. He thought he was going to bully Tito. He emptied it. He tried winning a fight early on in Tito's wheelhouse in the only sector of a fight that Tito could win, and he gassed himself out. We saw the adjustment Jorge made in the fifth when he took it back outside and won the fifth fighting at range, but then he didn't have the cardio to continue it because guys, it's a lot, and I'm going to use the word easier sort of tongue-in-cheek. If you guys have never boxed before, if you've never sparred before, I like fighting in the clinch. I like body punching, me as a fighter. I like fighting the clinch, I like body punching, but I'm way better at using my feet and using the entire ring. I was raised as a mover, raised as a counter boxer because I was small, so I love defensive fighters, but in me, the spirit in me, I love fighting in the pocket. Why? One of the things is, if you didn't know, when you're fighting in the pocket, you actually are using less energy. You might be getting hit a lot more if you're the less skilled boxer, but you kind of go there in a fight because you might be tired. And that's what I was seeing with Jorge Chavez. But if Jorge had the gas tank to stay on the outside and force Tito to come to him, he could have won that fight. It's like, bro, go back to the drawing board, work on your cardio, fight from the outside. Why would you fight your ego? You're going to fight Tito Sanchez's ego and you lost the fight. All good. I don't have an inside logo and you have a lot going on. What am I missing? Just ask, brother. What did I miss here? Eli, what did I miss? I don't want Yeah, he be wearing dressing gowns. Yeah, that's why I like him. I don't want to see Joe Stunner. See, this is the thing. We're all crazy, boys. To do what we do, we're watching blood sports. Guys, we would have been friends in the gladiator days. We would have been at the Coliseum if we weren't slaves watching these fights. What I'm saying is, the longer you are in the boxing world, the more fights you go to, the more people you meet. There's not a lot of us. It's not like every day you just go out and meet somebody who you could talk to about domestic Japanese boxing. We're rare. There aren't a lot of us. So because of that, there's a lot of characters in our freaking sport. Whether it's like we're on the domestic scene. So like I look at myself, I'm a domestic guy because we're small. We're growing, but we're small. And then you got guys like that the ring announcer for DAZN, dude. He's like a world club. He's a weirdo, dude. Fucking repeat like long braids. Former fighter, by the way, too. His name's slipping my mind, but I like characters. You could tell he's an odd dude. Joe Stunner wearing dressing gowns. I think he has his nose pierced. Smoke. Like I'm here for it. I like savages. In his dressing gown. I feel about it. He got like a sleep gown. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Joe, where's your little oil lamp at? Joe dresses like he's in Scrooge. I feel like Brady doesn't have the wrestling entries to take Buckley down. His grappling is top notch. So we will see. We will see. He wanted to fight Mexican style that night. He did. Shout out. He did. Fucked our bets up. Sorry, Mom, for swearing. Messed our bets up. And it was like watching that unfold. It's the same with Resendez, dude. Watching how that was. It's like I couldn't have had two worse fights to end my weekend on. I was just like, oh. We back though. We back though. He worked with Usman. I'm sure more grapplers. I'm sure they can't. Well, he's down in South Florida. I know those guys. That's Dr. Corey Peacock's camp. Those are the former Black Zillions. That was Sanford MMA. That was Killcliff MMA. I know all these guys. I know their coaches really well. At one time when I was doing just my MMA podcast, I had all those guys on my show. Old school Michael Johnson, Abel Trujillo, Dan Hot Chocolate used to train down there. They used to get a lot. They had this English connection. They used to go down there. So look, that's fine. You do one camp with grapplers. You think it's going to fix this big hole in your game? It's not. That's not how this is going to work. Sean Brady's a beast. I think Sean Brady's, world level. I think Buckley's a level below him. Ray and Van. Ooh, Joshua Van. My God, that's my dog of the week. Josh with that boxing. The good takedown defense. Young, dude, let's go. Who do you got, Aleem or Leo? We talked about it. It's crazy. I'm waking up like most other guys. I have 5 in the morning to watch Australia. We're crazy. Boys, stay tuned. I got a lot of work to do. We got fights soon. I'm going live again today. Have your notifications on because I'm uploading Wardley and Dubois right now.